The first Michalaks video in our new house.
Cheers.
Cheers. This should be champagne, not peppermint tea. We are very much like settling into the new pace and the new rhythm of the house. So it's such a psychological adjustment moving house. Your whole perception of things changes because you're just waking up to a whole new environment every day and you have to readjust to it. So we've been doing lots of readjusting.
You know, Rue has only just called this place home.
Has he?
Literally a couple of days ago, we
bless
got
him.
to the door and he was like, home. And normally when we drove past the old place, he'd be like, home, and then he'd start crying because we drive past.
There's this sense of like belonging here. There's a sense of like security that we have in the house. Before it was, you know, you didn't know when the landlord was going to be like, oh, I'm selling the house, or I want to move back in. So to have somewhere where you just don't have to worry about that and you can just make it your own is a great thing. So it makes you just feel a bit more settled in yourself.
Grayson learnt to ride his bike the day we moved in, which was pretty cool. Like, we were just dealing with boxes and he was just pottering around outside in the garden on his bike and just taught himself how to ride without the
Stabilizers.
When will I see?
We've kind of just all
simplified.
Yeah, it does feel like we're
streamlined.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? It feels like that, doesn't it? But and we're pretty much there with the house now. I think they're just going to install my desk as the last thing in the office, and then a few little bits and bobs of decoration, and we're kind of done. We're kind of there.
We'll hop back on the plane. Hallelujah. Kind as a word that suits you just.
We're quite looking forward to the season changing, weirdly, because we want to light the fires in here and get it all cosy and autumnal and stuff. So
And also because we've got a maple tree in the garden and I want to see the leaves.
yeah, the maple tree's hating summer. It absolutely hates summer. So that's God. Our chat now is the worst.
Gardening and renovation chat. Did we ever have good chat though? Let's be real here.
There ended up being a bit of a crossover of work, meaning a few of the builders were still fixing stuff for the first week we moved in, which actually was a bit of a blessing in disguise. The truth is I haven't made that many friends since moving to Bath. I guess it's because my humour is a bit too edgy and complex for these West Country thickos. That said, I didn't make many friends in London either, but that's probably because I was too kind and visually intimidating for unattractive, miserable people. I decided this building work crossover was the perfect opportunity to finally make some new friends. But I didn't want to go in too hard and look desperate and needy. Builders hate that. No, I needed to work my way in slowly, fly under the radar, if you will. It was time to turn some CC, casual chat, into some solid BFFs, builder friends forever. The first thing I picked up on was all the builders had a nickname for each other. There was Closet Mike, Eater Ben, Balding Pete, and Depressed Keith. If I was to somehow get them to give me a nickname, then that would be a sure sign that I'd been accepted into their tribe, and maybe, just maybe, I'd be invited to that barbecue at Balding Pete's at the weekend that they were constantly talking about. So I decided to drop a few hints. Yo, how you doing, Big Z? It's me, S-Dog. Yeah, S-Dog. Yeah, S-Dog, yeah. What the builders don't know is that this is actually a fake phone call. S-Dog, nickname I just made up, and Big Z doesn't even exist. Yeah, definitely up for watching some football next week, mate. Love a bit of football. Hopefully the ref isn't such a bloody idiot this time. God, I could have strangled him when he sent off number 6, when he gave me a yellow card and then another yellow card, which basically means 2 yellow cards is a red. Yeah, okay, mate. Anyway, over and out. See you in a bit. Bye. It's looking good, mate. Sadly, my plan didn't work. It turns out builders aren't very good at picking up on hints. Of course they aren't. Builders like things straight and direct. So it was time to shoot them straight in the face. We had a meeting in London to meet the team, to find out like what the next steps are with the channel and what we're going to be doing and stuff like that. They like to have these, what are they called?
Biannual
meetings, where they kind of talk about like 5 years into the future and what we're doing and what our ideas are and what we want to do and stuff. That was a fun little day out in London, wasn't it?
It was nice, yeah.
Every time I get to this train station, I'm always like, oh, I should have brought my reusable cup because I feel really guilty getting a paper cup. But I've got this really annoying reusable cup that you can only use if you drink it all straight away, and I'm a really slow drinker because it doesn't have a cover for the spout.
We need to get one.
So if I put it in my bag, it would just go everywhere.
We need to get one with a cover.
I know. And every time I get to this train station, I'm like, oh yeah, I need to order a cup.
People are get mad at you for that.
I know.
Difference between you and me is I don't care. Oh no! Not my white t-shirt. Do you have any wipes?
That's actually right.
Damn. Damn. You lapped that up. Yeah, you lapped that up. Damn. I'm gonna get I knew I shouldn't have got coffee.
By the way, condolences to anyone who has been dealing with kids for summer holidays. I want to show you actually quickly a scene from a film that we watched the other day, a French film, which perfectly depicts what a parent feels when they drop their kid off at a club or nursery or somewhere where you get a break.
To be fair though, like we've had a really nice summer holiday with him.
Yeah, we have.
We're just not used to
so much of it. so much time with them.
Wow!
I'm about to do a Skype interview for the BBC for a programme called Inside Out. They want to talk about being a vlogger. I'm going to talk about this in the call, but I feel like YouTube is the place where all of the misfits went. A bit like back in the day, like it's kind of MTV is a place where all the misfits went, and then it got commodified and it stopped being the zeitgeist. And I kind of feel like that's what's happened to YouTube. But I'm going to keep striving to connect with the heart of it. That's where my anchor's going to be. The heart. The truth. Here we go. It's about to start.
Hello, Stef.
Hey!
I waited until the builders were all sitting on the wall outside our house eating their lunch and surprised them all by handing each of them a raspberry-flavoured yop. A kind gesture as it seemed, but remember, dear viewer, there is no such thing as a selfless act in this cold, bitter world. By accepting the yop, they had also accepted a debt that needed to be repaid. Alas, not a big debt. All I asked for was to be allowed to command a few seconds of their time to tell a joke which I thought they'd all appreciate. As they sat on the wall, I stood over them and said, "Hey lads, how do you make a woman orgasm?" They all looked a bit perplexed for a moment, unsure if it was a setup for a joke or a genuine question. But before I could deliver them the punchline and bask in the laughter, my joke's punchline was crudely hijacked by Balding Pete. "Don't bother asking Closet Mike how to make a woman orgasm," said Balding Pete before putting his arm over Closet Mike's shoulder affectionately. They all burst out laughing, all apart from Closet Mike, who just rolled his eyes and shook off Balding Pete's affectionate arm. "No," I shouted over everyone's laughter. "No!" I shouted it again. "No! Who bloody cares?" I screamed maybe a bit too loudly in hindsight. I roared like I've never roared before with a maniacal laughter, my eyes rapidly darting over each of the builders' faces to gauge the reaction to my official version of the punchline. But by now the rapturous laughter from Balding Pete's stolen punchline had all but died out. The joke's validity was already spent from a cheap brazen punchline theft that left a contemptuous taste for Balding Pete in the back of my mouth. All I had left to lay claim to was a few lingering chuckles. But still I clawed in the lingering chuckles and reminded myself what I was here for, to make friends. It was time to up a gear. Yeah, they used to call me, what was it now? I pretended to search for the word. Oh yeah, sharpshooter, in account for how quick my wit was. Suddenly, Balding Pete snorted so hard some of his yop gushed out of his nose. "Did sharpshooter make you laugh?" said depressed Keith as he slapped his back to try and steady him. "Stop it," said Balding Pete, catching his breath, looking down at his work boots splattered in dried paint and fresh yop. You know what? You guys can call me Sharpshooter too if you like, I said before taking a big swig of my raspberry-flavoured yop. We already have a nickname for you, mate, blurted out Beta Ben. Shut the fuck up, said Balding Pete under his breath as Closet Mike gently elbowed him and whispered no. In all the time that I was so desperate to be accepted by the builders, I never stopped to think. Perhaps I already have been. They have a nickname for me and I didn't even know about it. I could almost smell Balding Pete's barbecue in the warm summer breeze. What is it? Come on, spit it out. We call you Cool Cat, blurted out depressed Keith. Yeah, Cool Cat, they all muttered, nodding enthusiastically, heads bouncing between me and each other, all frantically agreeing, repeating the words Cool Cat. Cool Cat, I repeated a couple of times, barely able to believe what I just heard. I did wonder how they came up with the nickname, but then I remembered something. When I look at myself in the mirror, I see just a normal, above-average-looking guy with piercing blue eyes, but I forget what other people see. They see a vlogger with tattoos and an electric skateboard. Cool Cat says it all. Put it there, I said, stretching out my hand to seal it with a firm handshake, trying not to show the breathless euphoria that had suddenly coiled around me like a thick ivy. I turned and walked back into the house, sat down and wrote these very words so I'd never forget the best moment of my life.
It took me about 2 weeks, but I've got the house smarted up to the max.
I feel like there was a lot of swearing.
What's a lot of swearing?
Some of you might not know, some of you might not even care what a smart home is, but perhaps you should care because this stuff is the future. And who wants to be stuck in the past with things like casual misogyny, shell suits and Scooch? Do you remember Scooch? God, they were shit. In fact, you know what? Just sit tight and let me show you what a smart home is.
But before we do that, I need to do something very important because it wouldn't have the same effect if I didn't. And that is to pop the collar. I feel like I need to look like a massive dickhead for this bit. This is the Philips Hue app, and this controls all of the lighting in the house. In total, the house has over 60 light strips and spotlights and plugs and smart bulbs all scattered everywhere around the house. So when you go into the bathroom, you'll see these little motion detectors here, and what they do is they detect your motion and they automatically turn on the lights in the bathroom for about 5 minutes while you try and scrub off some of the self-loathing. And then when you get out, we'll leave the bathroom, and in about 5 minutes it will just turn off. I integrated Hue LED strip lights into all of the kitchen shelving and into the shelving in the lounge, and even under the fireplace I put strip lighting in there, all of which can be controlled by our voice. We can even tell it what colour we want it to be. We also have these new Amazon smart plugs which are dotted around the house, and they control any of the lights which we can't fit or aren't suitable for Philips Hue. So they'll activate things like the neon artwork on the bar cart and certain light bulbs that are just more of the old school kind of light bulbs. We have these outdoor Hue lights which are dotted around the garden and decking, and a security light above the back door with a motion detector to let me know when anyone from Bristol is trying to break in. Let's make sure that's nice and popped. Alexa, turn on Office. It has a smart switch built into the artwork, on the back of the artwork, which basically means that I can turn it on using my voice. All the wires as well have been plastered into the wall, but it gets better. Check this out. This is the first snowboard I ever bought, an Arbor Element, or Arbor Element, Arbor. It's a Hawaiian koa wood snowboard. It's absolutely beautiful. It's one of the most beautiful snowboards I've ever seen. It's so beautiful that Hannah won't even let me ride it anymore because she says it's just too beautiful to ride. So I mounted it above my desk and integrated Philips Hue lights behind the snowboard and had them plastered into the wall so it turns on and looks like it's kind of like floating above the wall, and all lights. It just looks, yeah, I just love it. Here's something else which isn't smart but just as cool as something that's smart. It's a tap which dispenses instant boiling hot water and instant filtered water. I feel like this is the antithesis of what as a species we've been working towards all of these years, is a tap that dispenses instant boiling water. But before I put this collar back down, stop being a dick, I want to show you one more thing. Hannah and I love watching films, but don't love watching films on our laptop in lying in bed. Best way to watch a film is in a cinema. So we put a cinema in our room. We had a mechanical projector screen integrated into the ceiling of the bedroom. We use this little LG mini beam projector. It's about 400 quid. We've had it for a few years now, 5-6 years, and it's still going strong, and yeah, we use it all the time. So that's what we use to project the films onto the screen in our room. Right, so I think that's me done for now. I can get this thing back down. All the links to everything, all the Philips Hue lights and everything will be linked on my Want feed in case you want to go and get yourself smarted up with some smart lights. I couldn't recommend them enough. If you have a bit of a God complex like me, then they're just good to have because you can just command your house and make it do what you want to do. So I highly recommend just starting off with one bulb and just seeing how cool it is when you can turn on your bedside light with your voice, and then just build up from there. That's what I did anyway, and now I'm fully immersed. I will embrace it until the cows come home. I'll embrace it so much that Hannah will start wondering what's going on, why I'm embracing. On with the show.
Do you know what? I was a bit sceptical about all of your lighting and smart majiggy thingies, but it is really nice to be able to walk into the bathroom in the night and not have to switch the light on.
Yeah.
And the light just comes on.
Exactly.
That's one of my favourite features of yours.
When smart tech works, it's the coolest thing in the world, but when it doesn't work, it's the worst thing in the world. So that's the risk you've got to take. That's the gamble. But yeah, I'm like I said, I'm immersed. I'm fully embracing.
So we are off this morning for a shoot in the park, like a little family shoot. We're going to try, I think, and get a couple of new photos, like an updated photo to potentially use for our YouTube channel. It's quite difficult to get all four of us looking at camera or all looking happy. It's like one of those things where you take like quite a few pictures before you find one that works. So we're gonna wander up to the park and just take a few photos there. So I'm just getting ready for that now. Right, just gonna get changed and then we can go.
So how are you feeling about getting a dog?
I feel fine. I'm just waiting for you to be equally fine. I'm not having it on me.
Yeah.
I think it'd be great for the kiddies to go out with a dog.
If we don't get a rescue one, people go crazy though.
You could be the nicest vegan home clothes creating for yourself person that recycles everything known to man, and people would still find something they hated about you.
Yeah. True.
Yeah? You want a snack? He's so polite. He said snack, please. Are you hungry?
Hey.
Look at this.
Hey. Oh, do you think we got the shot we needed today?
I think we got some really nice shots, yeah. Well, I'm going to make you pasta bolognese for your lunch.
Lucky you.
What's pasta bolognese? What's pasta bolognese?
Basically, last night's leftover, but with a different kind of pasta.
Little flower.
Come on, guys. You ready?
Oh,
1, 2.
that's weird.
Oh, I've got a bit of side boob touch there.
For you, my friend. I feel like we deserve this. I need to water the flowers and then I am done for the day. Done. So we didn't really show you guys that much of the house this week. I think, well, it's mainly because it's still a bit of a mess. There's lots of boxes everywhere. There's lots of little corners where we haven't quite got them exactly how we want them yet. We're still kind of figuring out the storage solutions, and yeah, so we didn't really want to do like a house tour before the house actually looks like how we want it to look. We might do it next week, but it's still summer holidays. Stef's dad's staying over, so we'll have an extra person in the house. Can't promise, but we'll try.
We can only try, Coney. We can only try.
You're such a messy cook, Stef. I came home and like literally all your lunch stuff is just left out on the side.
What? And you ate the lunch that I made you as well, did you? Did you eat it?
No, I didn't actually.
Did you not?
No.
What did you do with it?
It was horrible.
Oh, I would have eaten it.
It's not, besides you didn't make it, you just shoved it in the oven. And I cleaned up after your sandwich.
Anyway, we'll stop this now so we can have a domestic. We just both want to say like a huge love and thank you to everyone who's made this house possible for us. None of it would have happened without every single one of you watching. So
Yeah, thank you for your support.
I know it sounds like one of those
Yeah, it
platitudes
does.
that every bloody influencer says.
It sounds really cringy.
You can't say it without it sounding like a platitude, but we do mean it, and we acknowledge it, and we say it privately to each other when we're not filming. So it's something that we don't forget. So thanks to all the brands and thanks to all the people who watch and everything, and to make it all possible and sustainable, and to give us something that we kind of have always dreamed of having. Not so much the house, just the security. We just need to pay for the mortgage now. That's the main thing. It's a big mortgage. I think I'll be an 80-year-old vlogger before it's paid off. Keep watching, guys, until you like can't watch anymore. Until you like die, please.
Clickbait, Stef's deathbed.
Sometimes when I put clickbait on there, people tell me, obviously, I thought you're better than this. I'm not better than this. I'm actually worse than this. I'm gonna, from now on, just clickbait like a madman and just deal with it. And that's me. I'm just gonna own it. If you think I'm awful for it, fine. I'll be awful. Clickbait works. I'm sorry, but it does. If I called a video something like casual chat with Hannah and Stef, 1 click from my mum, maybe 1 from my dad too. If we called it something like we're getting divorced, it would have like 500,000 clicks.
Or she hates me.
She hates me, yeah. It's just the way it works. Sad, but you have to play the game. You know, I could rise above it, but I'm too petty.
You're not that man.
I'm a pathetic man. I'm not that man. I'm a desperate man. I'm a desperate man with acute anxiety. Anyway, on that note, we better go because we've probably said too
Mummy's
much
got
already.
a flower bed to tend.
Yeah, you're quivering over that flower bed.
I know, I've got to do a lot of digging now.
Lucky you got a half Irish husband who likes a bit of digging.
Oh, cool. Come on then.
Thank you very much for watching, everybody. We'll see you all next week for far more shenanigans. Hope you enjoyed the show. Bye.
Goodbye.
See you later. I always say the way I say bye at the end. I always have to edit it because I always sound like God. I sound like such a
A vlogger.
yeah. Bye. I go high like I'm some sort of soy
I do
boy.
that though when I say like hello in videos. I'm like, hey guys, like that, and then like it's such a habit.
Yeah.
Like I would never do that to a friend. Actually, I